Hello and welcome to the next Maya modeling basics video, and here I'm just going to continue forward. I just finished making a quick little script to make life a little bit easier when it comes to duplicating and it not caring so much about the details. I'm going to save all shelves. And this script will be available inside of the script file, the Maya shell file that I will include inside of as a download feature for anybody that is interested. So I'm just going to scale this up. Vertex, let's snap up to the ceiling. And just continuing on, I want this pillar to kind of like still kind of like be inside. And so I'm going to hold down X, let's snap you, and let's duplicate you. So I'm using Control D in order to duplicate, just in case if anybody forgot or it wasn't fully clear. Now this one is kind of like cutting through, and this tells me I want this a little bit more off to the side. And this is where snapping to grids like really comes into play a little bit more. Here that's nicer, so that even if I snap this into the grid, we can see that it's popping in between these two. So maybe I want this point to be in the center, and let's grab this side right here and let's snap it into that point. And this is going to be all like duplicated and mirrored. So I'm going to start off, let's get one more back over here. So I'm going to add these, well, not you, and not you either. So I'm going to add these into a group. So these are going to be tall pillars. And let's put you into the duplicate this group. So now I can just, boop, done. And vertices, let's grab these back ones right here. And as you can see, like I'm still not spending time making the stairs look fully like stairs yet, keeping it as low poly count as possible for as long as possible, because it's just all about the big shapes and playing with fixing and looking at the big general shape, because that is what matters first when it comes to this. I have some ideas of how I want to adjust this area, and this way any of these bigger changes I'm kind of ignoring this half, because again I could just delete and mirror and that work is already done. So the next really cool thing is these things called Booleans. Booleans are amazing. So what Booleans are, it's a fancy way in order to combine shapes. So like let's say there's a whole bunch of different ways that we can cut a hole out of these wall areas. So like let's say I have these like big windows that I want to be in here, and Booleans are just like a great way in order to very quickly break up the shape. You know what? Yeah, because I might model there. I don't necessarily care about the width. I'm going to delete this half and grab this bottom. I'm going to hold down X because I want it to snap to a nice grid space. And I'm looking at my design and the proportions. I want these to be, yeah, these are still big windows, because that's like a person, and this is taller than a person. So that's fine. So here, I just want this cutting right through the geometry. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to hold down X. And let's make sure that this has a vertex on the end to snap to. And I'm going to duplicate this one too. And I'm going to hold down X. And let's say the windows are just on these three. So what I want to do is I first want to combine these three as one piece. It might not be necessary, but I find it helps. So I'm going to go under Mesh. I'm going to add Combine to my list. So under Mesh, Combine. And what this does is it groups all three of these together. Now, once I created that, we now have, originally we have pcube 8, pcube 9, pcube 10. These are these like window holes that are going to get created. So once I clicked on this combine, we could see 8, 9, and 10. They're now these like little empty groups with this like transform 2, transform 3, and transform 4. And we have this new pcube 11. So this is where we want to go delete by type history, not delete all, delete by type history. I'm going to hold down Control and Shift. This is another one of these like very, very big important ones that I use frequently for cleaning up models. And the moment I click on that, before I click on it, we can see inputs polyunite 1 and polycube 8. But the moment I click on delete history, it actually deletes this whole entire list, but also gets rid of all those extra little pieces. So with this group selected, I'm going to shift click on this piece of geometry that has where I want to cut the holes from. And I'm going to go under Mesh again, but this time Booleans. And I'm going to add difference right here. So what difference does is it's going to, out of the two shapes I select, it's going to cut out the second shape from the first one. So I want to make sure I click on the wall first and then shift click on this second. And the moment I click on that little Boolean, we can now see that holes have been created. This isn't a nice polygon shape for modeling. Like, it's not like a quads and tris. We have like this massive, massive n-gon, but at this stage, we don't really care. But we managed to use pcube 11, and we can still see pcube 11 right here, and this walls floor now has like this bigger list. And I'm going to actually hit delete history, and now that's all cleaned up. Over time, as you're modeling, you might find that as you model, your computer might start running a little slower, and that could be because of your different pieces of geometry building up in their inputs side, like right here. And so what you can do is you can just box select all the geometry and delete history, and that'll help clean it up. And you're going to notice it's going to be faster. And you want to make sure that you're saving frequently too. So I'm going to click on this, duplicate this, click on my mirror script, and I can see that my walls and floor was no longer in there, so I want to make sure that's back into that group. And just to kind of compare how things are going. So that's starting to look nice. And I have top floor of these big windows, and the bottom floor I have these like smaller double-sized windows. And with them, I'm going to oh yeah, if you're like wanting to focus on a part, you can press F for focus, and the camera's going to snap and enlarge, bring the camera close where that shape is going to be inside. You might accidentally press A at some point, and what it'll do is it'll frame all. But here we just want to focus or frame this piece right here. And so I'm going to hold down X and snap you down. And I just want to get the right scale in here. You know what? Let's make these like 2 meters wide and 3 tall. These are some other pretty big windows. And sometimes if you're rotating around with Alt and left mouse button and it's rotating in this funky way, it could be because the focus pivot of the camera is set in some weird spot. So let's say I wanted to focus on the stairs right here and the camera's not pivoting properly. Just select the stairs and hit F, and you're gonna find that's gonna fix it all nice and easy like. So here it's going to snapping, because our world is sometimes a little on the boring side, but it looks good and a little more realistic. And here we're starting to have a hard time seeing some of the edges. So in the camera, there's this like little blue box with white lines, and if we click on that, we can actually see all the edges, and it just makes it a little bit easier. We can even look through different views. So here, this I kind of want it to be in like the middle, and same with this one right here, kind of centralize a little bit more. So that's looking all right. And let's combine those and delete the history. And now hopefully that is on the center, and if not, there we go. I'm going to duplicate and let's snap that over to here, and let's snap that over to here as well. You know what? I think I might toss in like a door in that section. So with that, I'm going to grab all three of these, combine, and then I'm going to do the same thing. I want to Boolean remove them because I'm going to actually give some depth to them. Right now, they're going to be super flat, but we're going to end up separating these walls out into different parts later on. And this is just to make our life a little bit simpler right now. Early, I'm always down for keeping things as simple for as long as possible. But the cool thing is we're starting to see the shapes pop in, come into place. Now here, I don't want these stairs being like straight. I want to give like some nice curvature to them. Yeah, I'm gonna hold off on that because you need more geometry. So I'm looking at what I have, and this window section, I actually don't want these edge loops right here. Now that I think about it, I don't want these windows because there's a section where there's a painting. Actually, that's this one right here, and this gets extended down one more. So there's a section where I have like a painting on the wall. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this edge loop right here, and I'm going to go under Edit Mesh, I believe. Where are you? Or Mesh Tools. I'm looking for Fill or Fill Hole. Mesh Display. No, I don't think so. Fill Hole right here. And what it'll do is it'll take the hole. It needs to know which hole you want to fill in, so you're just selecting like one of those edges, mesh, and fill hole. Boop. Right there. So now I can actually go through and like delete these edges and delete these edges also. Unfortunately, oh, it actually deleted the vertices also. Nice. So let's get a framed painting in that spot. So I have like a framed painting, and also I have a couch. And what we can do is we can look through this specific view. And again, I'm going to turn this on. And let's delete the duplicate one just so I can see what I want. So I'm going to move that up to that spot, this down here. And so there is my painting. Going to be in this space right here. And I'm going to duplicate this chunk. I'm going to slide it down. I'm going to move it away from the wall a little bit. And just shrink down the back. And I'm going to bring our little character over. Primarily because this is going to be a couch. And I want to make sure that this couch looks and feels like a couch. So standing up, I know the couch should be like about yay high. And I'm going to add an edge loop. So about half that character's height is where the bottom of the crotch area is. So if I go down to about here, and I can extrude out, and so there is my couch shape. And let's just slide this back like so. That is a massively thick frame. So let's go into face mode and shrink this down. So as you can see, it's just slowly building up more and more. And this video is running long enough, so I'm going to stop this right now. But we can take a look at, if I duplicate this, mirror it out, we can see how it's starting to build up nicely with what we want. And I'll see you in the next video. And the next little bit, it's just going to be a lot of the same things, so I just might speed through and showcase, and I'll pause every once in a while when there's a new tool being introduced as we're slowly building up these settings right here.